everyone, I'm John from Let's Talk, and today we're here to talk about the latest film from the MCU, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But before we dive into that, if you are a fan of 4K Blu-ray reviews, movie reviews, tech and game reviews, we try and do them all here on the channel, and nothing would help us out more than by you liking this video and subscribing to the channel. So Black Panther Forever is the 30th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this one is yet again directed by Ryan Coogler, who also co-wrote the screenplay for this. And after the great success of 2018's Black Panther, a sequel was greenlit pretty fast, but unfortunately in August of 2020, Chadwick Boseman tragically passed away from colon cancer. And the team at Marvel, including Kevin Feige, they didn't want to recast T'Challa, so they decided that it would be best to continue the franchise and continue the Black Panther story with either a new Black Panther or just having Wakanda carry the storyline going forward, but they would not recast Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa role. They were going to take this franchise in a different direction, and luckily for them, they had Ryan Coogler behind it, who is a fantastic director. He's directed such great films as Fruitvale Station and Creed, and obviously the first Black Panther movie. And everybody wanted to come back who was in the first one, such as Winston Duke, Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, and Martin Freeman all wanted to come back and reprise their roles. So they were able to get a script together, get a screenplay together, and now in November of 2022, we finally got that sequel to that first Black Panther film. And let me just tell you right out of the gate, this was a phenomenal film. Easily the best film in Phase 4 of the MCU, and I believe easily the best Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame. Because unfortunately, Marvel, they've been stumbling a little bit as of late. I really didn't enjoy Eternals. I did enjoy Shang-Chi, and I did enjoy Thor: Love and Thunder, and I enjoyed the latest Doctor Strange movie, but I haven't loved any of them. And I really have felt like they've been very convoluted as far as plot goes, trying to fit in everything and making sure they all connect. And luckily, Wakanda Forever actually wasn't weighed down by being forced to connect to other Marvel movies and other Marvel characters. They really did find a way to tell a very contained story in Wakanda, which I thought was awesome. And obviously, they addressed the fact that King T'Challa passed away. This review will have very light spoilers. Anything I bring up will be just from the first act. I will not spoil anything in the second and third act. I want everybody to go out and see this film on the biggest screen you can. I saw this at AMC in a Dolby Theater.
Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It was just wonderful to see this on the biggest screen I possibly could. And they start this film out, letting us know everything that has happened in Wakanda since the last time we were there, everything since Endgame, and unfortunately since the passing of Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, and how Wakanda is recovering, grieving, and mourning the loss of him. How are they going to go forward? What is their plans? We got Shuri, who's just diving into all her technology because she blames herself for his death. She couldn't make that purple herb in time to save him. Unfortunately, after Killmonger burnt it all in the first one and left them with nothing, that was the only thing that could have possibly saved him, and they couldn't do it, and she blames herself for his death. Angela Bassett, their mother, is having to deal with the grief of losing not only her husband pretty recently, but now her son. And this film really just tells the story of how Wakanda is recovering. And then we get into a regular classic MCU film where we have a villain who's played phenomenally by, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Tenoch Huerta. He did an amazing job as Namor. He leads another society that is very similar to Wakanda. I'm not going to spoil any more than that, but he does a great job as this leader. He's another villain, not as good as I think of Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger is as far as villains go, but overall in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think he actually is pretty high up on the list. Anytime you could flesh out a villain and you understand why they're doing what they do, those are always the best villains. The ones that aren't evil just to be evil. The ones that are actually have a reason for doing what they're doing, when they operate in that moral gray area where you actually can see it from their point of view. And this one, you really can see it from their point of view because this screenplay is just so well written. I really think that's the best part of this movie, is that they've found their way to tell that tight, coherent story. Does it look beautiful? Absolutely. This movie has a $250 million budget. Of course it looks great. It's one of the best looking films you're ever going to see. Does the CGI get shaky at points? Of course, every Marvel movie does, but we don't want to blame the people who do the CGI work. They're already under enough pressure, but it's very little hiccups. Those are some little parts in there that you'll notice that. But other than that, it's still a great looking movie. They move the camera around in so many different ways. They put the camera in so many original places. I really did love the cinematography and the score, which is also great. The score, which was done by Ludwig Göransson, I hope I'm pronouncing that right again, is phenomenal. I thought the score was actually better than the first score. I think they added a little bit extra layers to it. Yeah, you still have that kind of good, fast-paced music, but you also get some real slowed down songs. A lot of use of synthesizer in there. I thought it was great. And now the lead of this film is Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. So how did she do? Well, I actually think she did phenomenal. Now, she was my favorite part of the original Black Panther film. I thought that she did a great job. I really did care about the character Shuri. But now that she was given the reins to be in the lead, how did she do? She did so well. I can't wait to see what they do going forward with her character, with this franchise. You know, she is a great lead actress. I think she's going to do a lot more going forward as far as acting goes. She did such a good job in this movie where she had to be the center. She had to be in almost every single scene. And I think she did great. I really do love her performance as much as I loved Angela Bassett's performance. Angela Bassett has a monologue in the middle of this movie that is so well done. If you didn't believe that Angela Bassett was a great actress, watch that monologue. You'll know it when you see it because it is another great monologue. Now, Winston Duke pops up again in this, and he's pretty good in this. I felt like he played a better part in the first film than he does in this one, but he still does play his part well. He's asked to do a lot of comic relief, and he does a great job with that in this. Now, one thing I actually would have cut from this movie, personally, there's a story arc that involves Martin Freeman, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and that is really what's trying to connect it to the bigger MCU. And I honestly would have cut their entire arc. I think you could have used the plot points that they are connected to in different spots in the MCU, or even used it on one of their TV shows, because honestly, I get why they're in there. I know they're trying to connect that thread, but you really didn't need it. And even though they did do a good job in their roles, and it's always cool to see Martin Freeman pop up because, you know, he was in the first one and you did want to get him back for the second one, but unfortunately I feel like his character and Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character, same thing. I just felt like they were unnecessary even if they played their parts right. So that was the only real issue I had with the story, because the regular story revolving around every other character in this film is just so well done. It really is a great movie, and I really do think that the way they handled the death of T'Challa is amazing, and it was so tasteful the way that they actually paid tribute to him and to the actor Chadwick Boseman. It really was beautiful, handled so well, and if you're a fan of Chadwick Boseman, you're definitely going to want to check this out just to see what they did. Well, overall, what score would I give this film out of 10? I'm honestly going to give this a solid 9 out of 10. I was floating around the 8.5 to 9 out of 10 range, but I'll give it the extra half a point because I really do love the way that they handled Chadwick Boseman's death, and the way that they showed that on screen. It really does get to you emotionally, and I do think that this is a great movie, and it feels like a great MCU movie, the first one that we've had in a while. You know, I feel like it's gotten very convoluted with Disney Plus and all the shows. It's nice to see a nice contained film, one that does pay tribute to a phenomenal actor, directed by one of our great directors right now. I really can't say too much bad about this. I really can't recommend it high enough. Is it one of my favorite films of the year? Probably not, but it is still a really good movie, and one that you're going to want to check out in the biggest and baddest theater you could find. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me here for another movie review. Nothing helps out the channel more than by you liking this video and subscribing to the channel, and after you do all that, going out and telling all your friends.